Welcome to Anne-Marie Walt's show called See It. Plan It. Do It. Allow me to introduce your host. Anne-Marie has over 2 decades of experience that combines business consulting, design luxury makeovers, photography, and an undeniable passion for internet marketing. She can help you bring your ideas not only to life, but to assist you to plugging them into the internet. Stay tuned in, and become inspired to keep your fire going. And now here's your host, Anne-Marie.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Waltz, and how are you doing today? First of all, I want to say thank you for listening and being part of my audience, and I want to welcome you to another episode. And my business motto is see it, plan it, and do it. So let's get started. Today, I wanted to have a conversation with you about how to be more creative, and possibly are you either in one of these 2 categories? Are you wanting to start a business and you don't know where to begin? Or do you own a business and you need to be more creative? You're kind of maybe possibly stuck and you need some new ideas. So, where do you start if you're in either one of those categories? Well, let me give you a little bit of background. I became my own boss, my own business in the early 90s. You have to imagine and picture uh, being like 20 something and fearless. So if you fast forward now, it's 2021 currently. I have over I've lost count now. More than a couple decades of experience of being in the space of owning a business. And when it comes to being creative, I want you to take a few moments and remember yourself when you were a little kid. And I've made mention of this in previous episodes because when you think of yourself as your younger self, or you look at a child, it doesn't it bring you back? Like when you see maybe you're driving past like a playground or something, and you see these young children. I don't know about you, but when I've done that, it makes me think of like, oh wow, a few different things. First of all, when it comes to thinking like a young child, imagination is, I can't stress that enough, is the best part of us that we have, which taps you back into your creativity. Because I've talked to countless people over the years that have said, oh, I'm just not creative, you know, I'm just not artistic. Man, I'm just not this. Okay, stop. I'm going to say stop right now. Stop telling yourself that, because here's why. Lean in. If you are thinking about having your own business and you want to beat the statistics of there's statistics out there that most businesses fail in the first 5 years. That's horrible. That's horrible. I can't even stand that there's statistics like that. Nothing like setting people up for thinking, oh, geez, am I going to make it? But that could be a whole other episode. So, in a previous episode that I have on my show, I talk about mind mapping. And that is a really cool tool. So the first thing you can do when you have an idea is get a piece of paper out. Write your idea right down smack dab in the middle of your piece of paper. And if you want to have a lot of fun, even use different color pens, markers, and such. Bring it right back to the times of when you were a kid and used to use your imagination. You used to use finger paints. There was nothing holding you back. There were no rules. You didn't think. You just did it. So when it comes to what I can help you with is to, first of all, if you visit annemariewaltz.com, you will see that my homepage does actually say, see it, plan it, and do it. And the other thing that my internet marketing business is about is throw away when it comes to working with any of you and doing consulting. My thing is throw your box out. All this whole mantra of like, oh, you have to think outside of the box. On my website, I actually mentioned that I feel that saying is just it's cliche. Let's get rid of your box. Can you imagine that? Not having a box. Think about that for a minute. Because a box has four walls, it's completely confining, and it's just get rid of it. All right? So now play along with me for a second. All right, I'm asking you permission right now for you to just kick your box to the curb. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Mentally kick that to the curb. Envision yourself kicking your box to the curb. Ready? Boom. Wow, now you don't have a box. Now if you don't have a box and you're used to having a box, you're probably like, "Oh god, what do I do now?" Well, I can tell you, you keep coming back to my show, you keep listening to the different things that I have to say, and I might be able to help you some. And my bad jokes are free. But no, all kidding aside, the things that I can help you with are will be a few. And first off, let's start off with find a mentor, find a coach, find multiple mentors and coaches that resonate to what your interests are. Over the past few years, I've gravitated towards the like of Tony Robbins. If you have an interest in sales and closing on business dealings, then I can say I would highly recommend Dan Locke. So, and then if you need to work with somebody when it comes to crafting, creating, seeing your vision, implementing your vision, and internet marketing, and somebody that has like 30 years of experience, well, then I might do a selfless plug and say, reach out to me. Uh, so my journey had started out when I was just about 8 years old, and I saw a lady's hair braided into a hat. And at that moment of time, I knew I wanted to be a hairstylist. I've mentioned what my whole story is in a previous show. I'm not going to go into the lengths of, from point A to point B on this episode. But what I want to do is just take that little snippet and use it as a tool. And in that moment of time, it was something that I saw that gave me an idea that I knew what I wanted to do right then at 8 years old. So what I'm suggesting is that you slow down to go faster, and that you slow down and look at things around you from a perspective that comes from your younger self, when you used to use your imagination like all the time. And kids, they don't understand any phrases like, oh, think outside of the box, because they don't have one. Now, when you take quiet time for yourself, you know you the best. And when you cut through the noise of the different thoughts that might be going off in your head of like, Oh, wow, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I could do it like that person. Oh, you know who does that the best? Oh, I can never be like that. Just stop. Stop doing that to yourself. And so I'll redirect you to listen to my other episode that is like finding out what your why is. So when it comes to the beginning stages of wanting to either set up your business or get unstuck, again, pull out a piece of paper and put down your your idea. So I'm going to talk to those of you that are just wanting to start a business. I bet you're so excited. You have so many ideas flying. You've just got like you're just fearless, and geez, you know you're going to make it. Does that sound like you? If it does, don't lose that. You keep that fire, you keep it burning, you keep stoking it. So then 30 years from now, when the medium podcasting is like archaic, because who knows what technology will replace by then, you can be the one sharing your message to cheer people on of what it took from 2021 to 2051 to keep your doors open, whether they be your digital doors because maybe you're working from your laptop, or maybe you have an online store, or maybe you're the, I don't know, the next Picasso. All right, so you just keep going in that direction. All right, now I'm going to talk to the audience that you've been in business for, I'm just going to throw a number out there, 10 plus years. Maybe, maybe it's 10 years. Maybe it's 20. Do you hear 25? Well, seeing that I'm of that camp too, do you still have your fire? Do you still love what you're doing? Do you feel that you get frustrated at times? Have you forgotten why it is that you started your business? Well, let me remind you why you did. Because seeing that I have that many of experiences, I can still relate to both of you that might be listening to this. If you started your business 20 years ago, there was a fire in you. There was a reason why. I would put money on it that you didn't want to work for the establishment because you had such a passion that you just weren't going to stop at anything to turn it into a profession, and you were just going to make it work. Now, this is where, if you haven't become an adopter of the digital marketing and the things and the tools that you need to be visible with internet marketing, then you really need to continually come back to, yes, my podcast, or seriously reach out to me, because things are different in one respect, but then things can, if you have fire and you have passion, it doesn't matter what decade you started, but you need to also have the right tools to keep moving forward. So I can share with you that if you keep your fire going, you find the right people and the right coaches to keep you going, well, you're just going to wake up and you're just going to have a good time pretty much every day. You'll be successful. You'll enjoy what you do. And guess what? You get paid to do it. Who wouldn't love to have a job like that? So when it comes to plan it, see it, do it, in today's environment, one of the strongest recommendations that I can say and share with you is that, in my experience, your website is going to be the best piece of digital real estate, in quotes, that you can have, your website. In recent weeks, one of the great big social media giant platforms, I'm not even going to mention their name, you know who they are, came crashing down. Now, I kind of chuckle because like myself and my businesses, I've been doing websites now for approximately 15 years. And my husband, he's also owns a business. So our core income and our yeah, in our family, our economic ecosystem is 110% reliant on keeping the fire going and keeping can I just say it, keep that fire going. You have to keep your fire going to keep your doors open in any decade. So but when it came to a couple weeks ago, social media came down. Yeah, well, guess what? Our brick and our little, I'm going to say little and not in a demeaning way, but our little mom and pop web shops. Yeah, right. But talk about Freudian slip. Exactly. Your website is more like a web shop because when you have a business and you have a passion and you have a topic that is your profession, then your website is more like a web shop, not a website. But anyhow, our websites were still up, as yours should be too. So I'm going to back up I'm going to back up to 1999 for a moment, okay? So in 1999 is when I decided for myself professionally to leave working for the establishment, which at the time was the traditional salon setting, where in my experiences over my journey of the first 5 years, I kept being employed by these very cranky, burnt out owners that obviously had lost their passion, they lost their fire, and they just like to complain to no end. Have you ever worked for an employer like that? I'm sure you have. Well, not all of us are maybe naturally designed to just like go, that's it, I'm going to be self employed. But in my case, I didn't see any other option because I've always wanted to be around happy people. And when it comes to you owning a business, I can't stress enough you need to find your tribe. And if you're going to have your own tribe and you're going to have people working for you, then I'm going to tell you, as a former employee, you need to have your stuff together because I can tell you the reasons why employees wind up leaving. And that's because most of the time, I would say probably 99.9999999 to the to the infinite to you know what I'm saying. I can't even get it out. 99999% of the time, they don't feel appreciated. A thank you can make people go to the ends of the earth because I so then I shifted to go to the other side of the fence and to become my own boss. So when you are self-employed or you decide to become the chief Indian with all the responsibilities because you're like, you've just had enough, you best be prepared and have the right coaches in play. And you know what's so awesome in 2021 compared to 1999? The internet, people, because going back to 1999, when I had a crazy idea of like, yeah, I'm just going to go work for myself. I went home. I was newly married, and I told my husband, I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore. DRAMA. I can't stand the drama. Meanwhile, was bringing home some DRMA, DRAMA drama. But all kidding aside, back then the internet was like brand new. The one of the largest social media platforms didn't even come about until 2004. And so it was a different time back then. We used to have to use the phone book, not that other book that comes crashing down. And so it was imperative, as it always should be, that you do a good job, that you took pride in customer service. You had to talk to people in person. You had to be a good communicator. And so now fast forward into today's digital age, and now, just like now, there's this kind of communication tool called podcasting, or having your own show. And you know what? That is something that I suggest that you do. And actually what I'll do is I'll do another show episode about podcasting, because maybe I'll give you some tips on like how to like jump into it. Because this is the thing. If you're going to own your own business, there's going to be times that you're standing like right in the hot heat. You're going to be standing right in the coals. And you got to be able to handle the temperature of owning your own business. So, and and how can you do that? I'm going to tell you again, stay excited about the reason why you decided you were going to have your own business, because there's going to be days that will test you. And, how are you going to pass the test? Are you going to quit? Are you going to give up? Are you going to become miserable? Are you going to be unhappy? Well, if that's going to happen, you just should have just stayed at your 9 to 5 job, because at least your 9 to 5 job gives you most likely health insurance, personal days, paid vacations, and a guaranteed check on Friday. So, and I put it that way because I know from experience. I've been self-employed and had my own business since I was 29 years old. I'm not 29 anymore. So when it comes to bringing this all back around about see it, plan it, do it, pinpoint what your idea is, and then have faith that you can make it happen. Because I get so excited about the internet. You have this great big thing called the internet. And, you might not have looked at it the same way until you've listened to today's show, but you have an endless amount of people on this planet that you can reach with your idea. Now you're going to need some tools to connect people, which would be your website. You need to set up your social media presence. You will need to, if you have a website, build content. And that's one thing from this episode that I can't impress on you enough. You use your website to build your content. Because guess what? When you use your website to build content and you have your website, do you have to pay more continuously or try to jump through hoops to have people see your content? No, it's your website. So if you have an idea that is just so fantastic, then your website needs to become your main hub, because that's your lane. That's your connection to connecting your idea with the other. I think there's like, I heard a statistic like last week that there's over like 7 billion people on the planet. So truly, the only thing that separates you from those other 7+ billion people on the internet is your website and your idea and the right coaching and the right business people to connect and help you with all that. So that's today's episode. And I have to say, like, you're welcome to reach out to me, leave a comment, let me know you're listening. And, good, bad, or indifferent, I hope something resonates to you. And I'm also gonna, before signing off, also let you know too. All right. I hadn't done an episode in about a month. There was just a couple things I needed to take a couple weeks off. But then I was also getting involved with Clubhouse. There's a lot of good information on Clubhouse, and then you're dealing with the public, a lot of opinions. I don't need to say any more. But before signing off, I do have to say I am using Anchor by Spotify. And, I'm from the school of thought that it's best to see it, plan it, and do it versus wait for it to be perfect, perfect, and perfect, and perfect. And you know what? I'm not going to do anything until it's perfect, 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 perfect. If you have an idea, push it out there. Okay. Just push it out there. If people can't hear you, they're not going to know your idea. If they can't see you, they're not going to know your idea. And if they can't reach you, well, then you're just robbing your idea of being introduced to the world. And why would you rob yourself of letting your idea not be held in that box that, remember, at the beginning of this episode, you gave me permission to ask you to mentally kick that box to the curb. So until we meet again, this is Anne-Marie Waltz. And just like every episode, I say, stay happy, stay healthy. And for more information, feel free to reach out to me at annemariewaltz.com. And if you need a luxury makeover, then you can reach me at theloftsalonstudio.com. And if you need a headshot because you're going to need an awesome website, then you can reach out to me at annemariewaltzphotography.com. You have an amazing day.